Miss Chui, thank you so much for accepting this interview request. I know that you're not feeling comfortable, and it took a long time to convince you, even before this interview, and you have already got away one time. You already said that you don't want to have it one time. But I just want to have a short conversation with you for just 15 minutes to talk about your experiences in university, about teaching, about the math department, just in general things. Just to have your experiences being heard by me on record and by others, if people get interested and if you allow me. All right, so let's start the 15 minutes so I don't take too much of your time. And the first thing I want to ask, which is something that we were talking about just a second ago, that you are teaching all these students and you have a lot of TAs helping you in that. You're coordinating these big courses. How do you think the classes change over time? Do you think that one class is better than the other, or do you think that as the years pass, they change at all?
Well, they changed a lot. When I first started, I only teach the small classes, right? It's like a 30-something students. And if you talk about some non-calculus class, I even had a numbers and polynomial one summer, had only 10 students. So it's really more relaxing for an instructor to deal with a smaller class. There's less non-math troubles that we had to deal with. Now we are all in the assembly class where the whole class we coordinate is about 1,000 students one semester. Although I don't personally teach that many, I always have 2 helpers. So I would be teaching, like this year, I think I teach 470 something in one sitting in
By
Carlton.
helpers, you mean lecturers, right?
Yes.
Because it's a branch. You're the coordinator of lectures and then a lot of teaching assistants.
No, we have 3 big lectures. So let me do my math right. So if 1,000 students, so it's 400 something, 300 something, and maybe 300. So I have the Carlton, so I should have 400 something this semester. And then 2 other instructors also teach 2 other lectures. Yeah. So there are 3 lectures, and in each office, I have 15 sessions. Of discussions, and the other 2 have 10 each. So there are 35 sessions altogether, live courses, where we see students face to face, 3 times a day for lectures, and 3 times a week. And 1 time a week is for discussions.
And that is with the teaching assistants.
That's with the teaching assistant, where they can freely ask whatever they don't understand in their lectures or in homework. And then they do take the quiz in the discussion. So as far as the instructor is concerned, we do not deal with grades directly, and we have no control over it. We want to have all that given to the TA.
But what you're talking about is a really huge responsibility, that you're responsible of these whole hierarchy of students being educated.
Yeah, so the difference now than before is you have so many DRC students to take care of, and you have so many students who are on athletes team and debate team and concerts. They cannot take exam, they cannot take makeup exam, so you would do a lot of administrative kind of work, making an exam, finding the time, finding the location, finding more proctors. That's just never ending. So the difference is I feel very exhausted.
Of course.
That I wish I could devote more time to the teaching part and to the one-on-one part with the student in terms of math understanding, instead of bog down on these kind of things a lot. You deal with students' Scantron get lost, students' exam got lost because there are too many proctors. So that's the changing, and I don't like it, but the reality is you have to. Now we have more students, and you want to be efficient, I guess. You want to cover more bases, so we have an online class. The learning is quite different. I thought the online class would not be as beneficial, because students have to have really good time management.
That is true.
Which is very hard. For calculus class, you deal with a lot of freshmen, and that transition from high school being taken care of by family, by counselor, by teacher, is not there anymore. We try to help them but they don't really come to us. And I just met a student yesterday at a volunteer thing. She was telling me she is double major in engineering and business. And I said, those two are both very demanding. How do you do it? And she said that business is completely online.
Wow.
And she just does the business first, and then she'll take care of engineering. She has not even started engineering. She's business and junior, and engineering is both sophomore standing. And she hasn't started any math courses yet.
It is completely different than my education.
Yeah.
But I have to say, so you, as you said, you want to spend even more time to education side of things. But when it comes to the coordinating side, I was a teaching assistant of yours, then I became a lecturer of yours even.
Yes, you know how that is.
So before becoming a coordinator, you never reflected that you were having any trouble with any type of this type of documentation or this type of issues and these things. I knew that they were a part of the job, but you did them so seamlessly that I thought it was so easy.
It's a learning process for us as well. You learn how to be understanding, and yet you want to maintain a standard and a fairness. You have to follow the rule. You cannot make exception, because when there's one, then everybody wants the exception. It's not seamless, and it's not undoable. It's just very exhausting.
But you make it look like it's seamless. But once I became a coordinator, I'm like, well, the world is collapsing on me. The skies are coming down.
Yeah.
But I remember we had these conversations after I became a coordinator for a couple of semesters that you were saying that's how it is, but you will keep on doing it.
Yeah, I think there's a need because we have so many incoming students, and also more and more people really are getting to college these days.
Yes, I think so.
And I think you just have to be really try to understand. A lot of these students coming from really no such a background of massive size of class size and massive self-responsibility. That is all something new to them. So one side you want to be strict so they can learn how to be mature, how to succeed in the society. On the other side, you also want to be understanding and not saying no to everything. So it's a balance. It's hard to achieve. And I realize a lot of my TAs are having a little bit of a trouble sometimes. They will come and say, what do you handle this? How do you handle that? And we discuss. Sometimes they have a lot of good insight.
And on behalf of all of them, thank you. How I started learning.
I learned so much from you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you and I worked a lot together. And you know how I come to you for everything.
Still do it.
When I don't know how to do PowerPoint, I come to you. When I don't know how to do graph in the LaTeX.
Or the hip clickers have an issue.
I know you could do it, and now I feel guilty because I know how busy the grad students are. And sometimes I'll say,
busy, don't worry about it. Now that I've passed that level, I
say, can you handle, there's so many students coming to me after exam 1. I want to see Scantron, how they bubble. I said, could you do your session? Somebody's going to do it. If I do it, I do so many. If you do it, you only handle a few. But I was told by one of the TAs says, I can't, I'm really busy. And I realized, my God, I have used Lally all the time. He never told me. I don't know how he did all that. So thank you for that.
Oh, no. Well, I had a great time. You taught me how to teach. I got mentored by you and Jane Smith on my first semesters. Then I started lecturing under you. I became a coordinator on your side. We created the online Cal 2 together, which was an amazing thing.
You did a brand new technology that I didn't want to do.
The whiteboard, yes.
Yeah, you have yourself being video the whole time.
And you don't feel comfortable with that.
I don't feel comfortable with that.
I know. But maybe we can go back to the teaching of mathematics. So mathematics doesn't have a great name, especially when it comes to the undergrad students or the high schoolers. There is that feeling of, I never liked math, or like, I can't do math. So how do you approach that? Because I know that you have a great approach, and whoever exits your class actually likes math a little bit more.
I think it's the support you have to give them. I do understand there are people that come to university calculus class ill-prepared because they didn't learn well. And there are also ones that are ambitious that didn't even have the chance to learn. So both of those need a lot of help. And the third kind is those who think they learned a lot, which they probably did, and they're overconfident and still don't do well. So all of them need your attention. And I think being a teacher really is how much you're willing to give. At the end of the day, you want to know, do they feel better after they talk to you? So even like today, there was only one student after class.
Which you spent an hour with.
But there's only one, so I was able to.
Still, which you spent an hour of your life with after the class, so that's a lot of compassion on your part.
Well, but if that one, and I asked him, how do you feel now? Do you have a general idea? Can you tell me what you learned? And he seemed to be able to grasp, so that's a win, right?
Yeah.
And 1 hour of my time is not really that important. My kids all grown and left, so I have a lot of time.
It should still be mentioned that you're giving from your life to teach more.
But as far as spending time, I'd rather spend 1 hour teaching than 1 hour doing paperwork.
In a day,
I'd rather do that. I don't
instead
mind
of the
that
administration,
at all.
yes, you're right.
Yeah, it's the other thing, arranging the exam room when they give you so few and try to squeeze all 35 sections, and you have to break up this and that. You do that for every exam, every semester. I sometimes really wish the department would create another position that it would just take care of handling the exams. I just feel like I think we should just be really paying attention and spending time with students and teaching instead of arranging the room, finding the proctors,
and there's a lot of administrative
email
work.
them, calling them if they forget to apply to your email, say I'm coming, and then on the exam night you have to call them because they didn't show up. These things I was hoping there's a different.
You mean TAs? You call TAs usually.
Yes, the proctors.
You don't call individual students. That's
no. No, those get on your different
of
class.
course.
You do the makeup exam, you
hear
have
about
to remind them.
the next day.
Yeah. So I think these should be a separate job. Speaking of changing of the format, yes, we could still handle the teaching part if the other part could be done by a different position. That would really release the load a lot. That would make our teaching a little easier.
That is true. And you know what? Before you know it, Pearson is going to take the exams too. I'm just joking. You know how Pearson is doing all the standardized exams?
Oh, yeah. I like WebAssign. I would not use WebAssign as my exam. It's just not tailored to what we're learning.
That is true.
There's so many. I'd rather write my own exam.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because you know your students, you know your
and I know
class.
what I try to emphasize and what I try to achieve. But I can't really reduce their importance. I think their homework system is really good. It's very hard to top those commercial third-party homework. I know they cost money, but they're well made.
Yeah, they are
for
definitely
practice.
worth the money.
Yeah.
I'm also feeling a little bit uncomfortable about asking the student to pay tuition and then to enroll to WebAssign or any other system like that.
Yeah.
But that is actually a considerable part of the class that they're getting a lot of good practice from that, and they're actually getting access to their lecture notes and the textbooks from that nowadays.
Yeah. But we learn a lot from those as well. So we start making our own homework problems.
Sure.
And we start putting them online. So I start writing my homework in Google.
Oh.
Yeah, so I have like Google problems and Google survey, quiz type of thing, just so that they have a little variety, and they don't really like to turn to the page and do all those, and it looks very overwhelming, 60 problem or something. But if you make them as exam type, quiz type, and they like that better. But I don't. So for me, I don't believe that learning math could be just from taking multiple choice or fill in the blank. So for me, is you have to learn how to really express your math vigorously. So I would have those homework I created in Google, but that's not where they get the points. I say you do that as if you have the answer in the back of the book. You do it, the answers show up. I still want them to submit their homework and complete writing, complete solution. Because if you don't practice that, when they ever gonna practice before they take the exam?
That's true.
You know, and when they ever gonna find out there's a hole in their understanding?
Yeah.
They could finish the multiple choice questions, true false questions, but they don't know where they didn't know.
And that skill translates to the skill that you get in your freshman year to
Yes.
be able to write your thoughts
Yes.
in logical and in a way that you can follow line by line, or however, translates to writing an essay, translates to writing proofs if you're coming
Yes.
into mathematics, it translates to everything.
Yes, and a lot of our students are STEM students, so they are going to take later on other higher level class. And they really have to. But on the negatives,
Well, that's 15 minutes, there you go.
wow.
But, yeah.
So just one more point. So on the negative side
Uh-huh.
is that you created more work for the TA. So the balance is a little hard. However, you know we have something called speed grader now
Oh, I didn't know.
in the Canvas. So
Okay,
instead of
yes.
collecting them,
Uh-huh.
they scan their work and they submit and they collect them in speed grader. Because I tell the students, it's not our job to verify your answer because you already
Yeah.
know what the correct answer is.
Mhm.
Our job is to make sure you practice. So we just kind of correct them by, or the grades by completeness.
Mm-hmm.
But you should really know the process, because I do give them the answer, and they can get any help they want.
Definitely,
So
yeah.
if they really want, because they have to learn to be adults.
Yeah.
If they really want to learn, they could learn,
Exactly.
right? And they could ask us, and we have office hours and all that. So it's like almost an honor system.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to learn, you could learn a lot out of this. If you don't want to learn, you can skip by and then you can fail the exam. So it's really a matter of how much resource you provide them and how much they wanted to learn. You have to
Yeah.
meet in the middle somewhere.
I think that's a really good point that we should maybe add there. As you said, this is a place where they are turning into adults.
Mhm.
You're taking high school students and now they're expected to actually do their own time management when it comes to that, make sure that their understanding is correct.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to learn, or they need to make sure that they get their results checked. And so this is actually a really good start. The freshman courses, the sophomore courses is a really good start to actually just getting these high school students out of being a student and giving them more responsibility and to take them towards being a young adult.
Mm-hmm. That's my goal as being a teacher, is that in college, it's not just education, academic, it's a way to learn how to be a useful, successful person in society, and also your contribution could be positive to the society. You learn how to be able to be independent and responsible.
Yes.
Along the way,
Do your dishes.
hopefully do some
eat.
math and learn
Oh, yeah,
math.
yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to say along the way you learn how to do dishes, how to do laundry,
So,
how to eat, how
yes,
to
that
drink
too.
more water.
That too. So I could say either way. You learn math along the way, you learn to be a useful member of society, or the other way around. They should be equally as important. You don't want to be, I learned how to do A, B, C, D. I have no idea why I'm learning this, how this is going to help me or help the society. And hopefully this is all together.
I think you just train logic with mathematics and you learn responsibility with all the courses pretty much.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, with that, thank you so much, Mrs. Nicole. Thank you so much for giving me this
Thank
interview.
you.